Alright, Cyber Warriors, before we dive into today's adventure, let me give a massive shout out to those of you who spotted Katherine Johnson in the thumbnail. If you caught that, you've got the kind of attention to detail that would easily fend off a phishing attack. Seriously, it's that level of sharpness that keeps systems secure. So, well done. And if you didn't spot her, no worries. Think of this as your Easter egg hunt. Now you've got the perfect excuse to go back and check out the thumbnail again. Now before we crack on, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button like you're stopping a buffer overflow. You won't want to miss what we've got coming next. Today we're tackling Python mathematics. Don't worry, you won't need Katherine Johnson Black Goddess level math skills for this. We're keeping it simple, practical, and absolutely essential for keeping your system secure. Ready? Let's go. Alright, Cyber Warriors, for those of you who've been here before, you know the drill. Let's jump right in and open our terminal. We're going to cd into Python scripts directory, and once there, let's create a brand new file using gedit. We'll call it math.py. And don't forget the ampersand at the end. It'll keep our terminal open while we work some Python magic in gedit. Once you've got that open, we're ready to dive into some Python mathematics, where things are about to get practical, but fun. Alright, with gedit open, let's kick things off by typing shebang /bin/python3 on the first line. Now on line 3, I'll introduce our operators. Asterisk, the double asterisk, the /, the double /, the modulus, the plus sign, and the subtraction sign. These are the tools we'll use to perform all sorts of calculations. Let's break down their functions with some examples. The asterisk is for multiplication. For instance, if we print 10 multiplied by 3, we should get 30. Easy peasy. The double asterisk is for exponentiation. This is handy when we want to raise a number to a power. For example, print 10 to the power of 3 will return 1000. 10 cubed. Now, the single / is for division. Think of it as sharing. Let's print 10 divided by 3, which should give us a floating point number, 3.33333. We'll see this when we run the code. But if you want to divide and only get the integer part, we use the double /. This returns just the whole number from the division, no decimals, just the good stuff here. So if we print 10 divided by 3, we'll get 3. Next up is the modulus operator. This one tells us what's left over after dividing. For instance, if we print 10 modulus 3, 10 divided by 3, it should return 1, which is the remainder. If you want to add some numbers together, the plus sign is your friend. Let's print 10 plus 3, and that will return 13. Simple stuff, right? And last but not least, we have the subtraction sign, used when you want to take away from a number. If we print 10 minus 3, that should return 7. And there you have it. With these operators in your toolkit, you're ready to tackle all kinds of mathematical challenges in Python. Now let's save our code by hitting Ctrl S, and back in our terminal, let's run the code with Python 3, math.py, and hit enter. Whoa, an error at line 3. Anyone want to guess what's going on here? Right. Earlier, I typed all the operators on line 3. Now Python is scratching its head, wondering what sorcery I've conjured. But no worries, let's give it a quick fix by adding a hashtag sign at the beginning of the line. This way, line 3 becomes a comment that Python can happily ignore. Now, back in the terminal, hit the up arrow and then enter, and bam! Our code runs successfully. You can see our math and Python has the answers correct. Remember, don't be afraid of errors. They're not the enemy. They're your best mates in the coding world. Each error is a learning opportunity, helping you become a better coder. So get comfortable with reading and understanding them. They can be quite enlightening. Now moving on, I'd like to introduce you to augmented assignment operators. These little jams can turn you into a coding whiz in no time. I'll highlight 4 of them today: the plus equal sign, the minus equal sign, the asterisk equal sign, and the / equal sign. And trust me, there are even more out there. Maybe just 3, to be precise. Think of these as your coding shortcuts, like using a microwave instead of the traditional oven. Let's start with x equal 10. If we want to add 3 to this variable, we could write it out the long way like this: x equals x plus 3. Simple enough, right? If we print x and quickly run the code in our terminal, we should see 13. But where's the fun in writing it out like that? Instead, let's cut to the chase and type x plus equal 3 on line 17. So if we run the code, we'll see x equals 16. That's because line 16 adds 3 to x, and line 17 does exactly the same as on line 16, adds another 3 to x. Now let's save our code and rush to our terminals and run the code. Boom! There it is, 16. Using augmented assignment operators not only saves your keystrokes, but also helps you avoid those pesky typos. It's all about efficiency, folks. Less typing means more time for the important stuff, like figuring out what snack you're going to grab next while coding. I'm going for popcorn. And remember, I'm just illustrating one example for you today. There are even more clever ways to use operators, so keep an eye out for those as you code. Now finally, to wrap up our session on Python mathematics, let's delve into the subject of operator precedence. Because yes, Python follows rules about which operations to tackle first. Let's type this out together. X equals 10 multiplied by 10 plus 10 minus 10 divided by 10. Now print X. Now, take a wild guess. What do you think the answer will be? I know this might seem straightforward, but trust me, most people still get it wrong. It's okay though, we're here to break it down. So what's the answer? Drum roll please. It's 109. Surprised? Let me explain why. Python doesn't just go from left to right when it sees math like this. There's an order, a hierarchy to follow. First, it handles multiplication or division from left to right. Then it moves to addition or subtraction, again from left to right. So in our example, Python starts with 10 multiplied by 10, which gives us 100. Then it moves on to 10 divided by 10, which gives us 1. Now it adds 10 to 100, getting 110, and finally subtracts 1, leaving us with 109. That's how Python does it, following the mathematical order of operations, also known as PEMDAS or BODMAS, depending on which part of the world you're from. If you didn't guess that right, don't worry, you're not alone. Operator precedence can trip up even experienced coders at times. Just not me. Alright, cyber warriors, here's one last tricky challenge for us to tackle. Let's type this one out. Y equals 10 multiplied, open parenthesis, 10 plus 10, close parenthesis, minus 10 / 10. Print Y. Now this time we've thrown in some parentheses in there. What do you think the result will be? 199 is correct. That's because whenever parentheses are involved, they get the express treatment. Python works with whatever's inside them first. Here's how it breaks down. 10 plus 10 inside the parentheses gives us 20. Next, Python handles the multiplication. 10 multiplied by 20 equals 200. Then it moves on to 10 divided by 10, which gives us 1. And finally, we subtract that 1 from 200, leaving us with 199. Easy, right? Parentheses always take priority. Now, let's verify our math and make sure the code runs correctly. Head back to our terminal, hit the up arrow to bring up the previous command and press enter. Boom, baby. X is 109 and Y is 199. Just like we calculated in our heads. Looks like we've got Python and math on lockdown. Now, just how easy was today's session?
Easy like Sunday morning.
And that's a wrap, cyber warriors. See, Python mathematics isn't so scary after all. It's more like a brain workout that's also kind of fun, like Sudoku, but with a lot more potential to save our network. Remember, every time you run into a tricky bit of code, it's just Python's way of giving you a puzzle. And who doesn't love solving puzzles, right? If today's session was as easy as a Sunday morning for you, then hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time for more Python magic, and don't worry, we'll keep it just as easy breezy as today. Until then, keep those systems secure and may your variables always have the perfect value. Peace.